And now, let's bring on the Mountaineers! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WVU Coliseum for tonight's duel between the North Dakota State Bison and your West Virginia Mountaineers. Please rise to honor America for the singing of our national anthem, performed today by Becky Sanders.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now introducing the starting lineups for tonight's dual meet between the North Dakota State Bison and your West Virginia University Mountaineers. At 125 pounds from North Dakota State, Paul Bianchi. And for West Virginia, a redshirt junior from Northampton, Pennsylvania, ranked 19th nationally, Zeke Moisey. Or a sophomore from Murraysville, Pennsylvania, Devin Brown. At 133 pounds from North Dakota State, Cam Sykora. And for West Virginia, a redshirt freshman from Platte City, Missouri, Matthew Schmitt. At 141 pounds from North Dakota State, McGwire Midkiff. And for West Virginia, a junior from Methuen, Massachusetts, Christian Monserrat. Or a redshirt sophomore from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Keegan Moore. At 149 pounds from North Dakota State, Kyle Gliva or Mitch Bengstrom. And for West Virginia, a redshirt freshman from Neosho, Missouri, Kyler Ray. At 157 pounds from North Dakota State, Clay Ream or Nick Mergen. And for West Virginia, a redshirt sophomore from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Zachary Moore. At 165 pounds from North Dakota State, Andrew Fogarty. And for West Virginia, a freshman from Brunswick, Ohio, Nick Kiussis. At 174 pounds from North Dakota State, Charley Popp or Nick Knutson. And for West Virginia, a redshirt senior from Marshville, North Carolina, Parker VonEgidy. At 184 pounds from North Dakota State, Tyler McNutt. And for West Virginia, a freshman from Davison, Michigan, Brenden McRill. At 197 pounds from North Dakota State, Cordell Eaton. And for West Virginia, a redshirt senior from Charleston, West Virginia, ranked 5th nationally, Jake Smith. Or a freshman from Parkersburg, West Virginia, Hunter DeLong. At heavyweight from North Dakota State, Dan Stibral. And for West Virginia, a sophomore from Hagerstown, Maryland, Brenden Ngati. North Dakota State is coached by Roger Kish. He is assisted by Gerard Garnett, Matt Nagel, and Chase Nielsen. The Mountaineers are coached by Sammy Henson. He is assisted by Danny Felix, Nicholas Marable, and Tolly Thompson. The starting weight class for tonight's duel will be 125 pounds. In match number 1 at 125 pounds from North Dakota State, Paul Bianchi. And for West Virginia, Zeke Moisey.
City of Pittsburgh wrestling the Panthers and defeated Pitt 28-11. Some momentum for them as well coming into this Big 12 duel.
Well, you're exactly right. They had a pretty nice win up at Pitt. You know, I see this match as being pretty evenly matchups along the line. A lot of where West Virginia's strengths are a little bit, especially right here at 25. So this would be a pretty good match right here with Bianchi and Moisey.
And a consistent part of those wins over Pitt and Oklahoma were Boise getting a pen right away.
Well, and he tried to do the exact same thing, went to that single leg, and Bianchi tried to sort of sit into it a little bit, and Moisey went right for the cradle, but was not able to lock that up this particular time.
Moisey 14-6 on the year, got his 70th career win as a Mountaineer in that duel against Oklahoma, 70-31 for his career. Bianchi on the year, 18-8, got a win by injury default up at Pitt, 6-4 in duels this year.
So shot by Moisey and a nice counter by Bianchi, and then he tried to sort of counter himself with a shot, and Moisey did a good job of working his way out of that. So nice little interesting scramble there between the two of them.
Moisey comes in ranked 20th in the nation, but you got to figure he's going to move up after defeating a ranked foe against Oklahoma if he can get another win today.
Well, that would be great, the rankings and all that kind of stuff. He's just got to go out and do his job, get back to being himself. I mean, been dealing with some injury through the last year and getting up to speed and all that stuff, and just want to see him wrestle like himself would be great.
Do you feel like he's getting back to that level, or is it harder to tell since he's been able to get some early pins in these last two matches?
He's going after things much more significantly like he is right now. I mean, he's driving that stuff pretty hard, which is a little bit more his style, and finally just sort of cutting loose a little bit. You know, he was getting very hesitant for a little while, and you know, again, some of that, just like you saw with Jake Smith, you're working your way back into things. You're starting to try to be confident with how your body's going to respond and feeling like you're going to be able to fight through and be in good positions, and that's just a process that occurs.
As we talked about before, this is such a mental sport that a lot of times that's the tougher challenge, is not so much getting your body right, but getting your mind right.
Well, that's probably true for almost every sport, to be honest with you. But,
I think especially
but
for
yes, well, this one, well, the fact that you're out there by yourself and there's nowhere to, there's nobody to hide you, and there's nobody to cover up for you, and things like that certainly make it different.
Jay Cox, our official today, circling the two wrestlers here at 125. We had him for that pit match as well a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time at the at the monitor then. I'm hoping that's not the case tonight. The question is whether we get that warning for stalling before the end of the period. It doesn't look like it. Moisey spent a lot of time on top.
A minute 44 to be precise, and a 4-1 lead for Zach Moisey heading to the second period. Take down for the second period. His highlights from the first period.
nice job by basing out a little bit and finally getting it square and finally getting to his feet and getting it cut off, gets himself an escape.
Bianchi, a redshirt freshman, was a training partner for the NCAA qualifier and Big 12 runner-up last year, Josh Rodriguez. So got some good experience watching and getting unattached last year, and now put into this Bison lineup full time.
You're in the room every day, and it's not exactly like don't practice people all the time. And if they're good, you're part of their training partner, like you said, and you're the one helping them prepare. And the better you are, the better they are.
Everybody in this Bison lineup today has redshirted a year, so that extra little bit of experience.
Moisey with not the best shot in the world. He gets hit on the leg, but he fights his way through it. Really looking for that turn. He's done that every time so far. He's really looked for some turns off the takedowns, which is great. So he's kind of using the leg as a pry, right? So he's not able to get his hip down and square. Bianchi finally gets his hip down, and heck, there's only 30 seconds left in the period, so they spent a pretty good amount of time in that particular position. And what we'll see is whether we get this warning for stalling on the bottom again.
I mean, Hansen certainly thinks there should be a warning for stalling.
And probably the thing that Moisey's having some troubles with in terms of getting that warning is that he's staying straight on top and staying parallel to him. He cuts a little angle like that and he buries him that way. I'm sure he gets that warning for stalling a little bit easier, or he gets an opportunity for a turn. There's a shot, and he's kind of on the outside, kind of sweeping it, and really is not in very good position, but is able to sort of fight through, not get himself overextended, and is able to knock Bianchi down on his hip and ends up with the takedown eventually. We're going to go neutral here for the third period. And why not? Because Bianchi hasn't done anything except wipe the mat up from being on the bottom, so he doesn't show real promise in getting out from there.
Bianchi will get a point, of course, for the escape that he's given, so 7-2 now. Moisey's going to get that point back in riding time. He has 2:27 on the clock right now, so unless something crazy happens, that point's in the bag.
Oh. And he's in the same position again. He's a little high, and so he's not able to get under the shoulder the way he wanted to. But he's going to get a 2-point takedown. And we'll see whether he cuts him loose again with a minute 15 or so left in the period. 9-2. Again, we're looking for major decisions. So 10-2, you're going to have that at the moment. I'm not sure why we haven't gotten the warning yet, because he's just not moving. It's not like he's got a leg in and he's burying his hip into the mat. Somewhere along the line, the defensive guy has to do something. I don't know if he's feeling sorry for him or what. There's a warning and there's a point.
Not too much change in the behavior of Bianchi either.
He hasn't done much of anything since then, which usually just constitutes another warning. I mean, you really just. So again, what's helpful here is some bonus points and getting a major decision for Moisey, being up 10-2, and even if you give up an escape, you'd be with the riding time point. Going to have about 4 minutes of riding time out of a 7-minute match. It's a lot of time on top. And there you go.
So not a pen like we saw the last two home matches, but Zeke Moisey dominant once again, an 11-2 win with that bonus point for the riding time. And West Virginia out to a 4-0 lead, one match into this duel.
Oh, you're exactly right. He just did a nice job of continuing the pressure and a good follow-up to the match we saw on Thursday night, where he's been aggressive and aggressive through a whole 7 minutes. Now, potentially at the end, he might have coasted a little bit, stay on top, because he knew there wasn't going to be a whole heck of a lot of things going on. He tried to turn him, but nice match by Zeke Moisey to start the Mountaineers off.
So at 133 will be Matthew Schmidt for West Virginia, 14-6 on the year, looking for his 20th career win for the Mountaineers today. And on the other side, it's Cam Sykora for North Dakota State. Sakura on the year, 15-4, 6-1 in duels. Did lose a 10-3 decision against Pitt on Thursday. Schmidt, on the other hand, had a great match and beat Jake Rubio 4-2. The Mountaineers win over Oklahoma on Thursday.
You know, so I think you look at this, if you're looking at these, at this particular matchup, you're looking at somewhat of a toss-up. And so either team looking at this and saying, you know, if we can get a win on this, this is a benefit for us. You know, they're
back to neutral here.
Let that 2-on-1, but it's kind of not in great head position there. So you're fighting two things, the angles and being in good head position so that you have a better opportunity to score. Usually you want to be on the same side. He's got his elbow a little deep, Schmidt does, and you can see that Sakura really holding on to that thing pretty tight. Headgear's coming pretty loose too. You got to stalemate this in a second or two.
There it is. Seems like Schmidt's been able to get a little bit of an advantage, but not enough to decisively score.
Well, you're pretty good analogy on your part. He's getting a little advantage, but he's not getting an angle enough. He's not going through enough to be able to get his elbow a little bit too deep sometimes, which gives Sakura just an opportunity to hold on, particularly in those front headlock positions. And just some good hand fighting, and so Sakura really trying to stay in front of him as best as possible so that he doesn't give Schmidt an angle on a side. And Schmidt's working to get to a side. But we're going to stalemate this or something. So shot score, but Schmidt's got him all stretched out. Got an opportunity to score himself. Will probably just end up with a stalemate. You see him just pushing his knees away so that he can't suck in underneath it. And Jay Cox, our referee, is just going to allow the time to run out instead of call the stalemate and end the first period.
Schmidt will take down for the second period and chance to get the lead after a very even first period with a quick escape here.
That's a bit of a caution, I would say.
Good work there from Sakura to secure that.
Well, you know, he did that on the false start, so Schmidt would know, I would think, that that's what he's going to try to do is sort of that near arm tight way, see if he can tilt him, but he didn't really adjust his start in order to really take advantage of that.
Schmidt trying to work his hands free, but not having a lot of success right now.
Well, and Sakora's trying to grab the wrist and the bar so that he can tilt and roll. Schmidt, that's where the hand fighting is in that particular situation. There's an opportunity to get to his feet, which he takes advantage of and finally gets that point.
We've talked about the patience that these redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores for WVU have shown to look for the right opportunity. I think Schmidt did a good job of that right there.
Well, some of it's creating your opportunity, right? So he finally got his positioning on the bottom, fought the pressure a little bit better, which allowed him to get to his feet. Once he gets to his feet, he can create some hip separation and be able to cut that off and get himself the escape.
42 seconds of riding time, by the way, for Sykora before Schmidt wriggled free here in the second period.
So Sakura with that front headlock really trying to go around the corner. He's got an angle on it. Schmidt doing a good job of countering. And now we're probably going to end up with a stalemate as they're both head-to-head. And
I feel like Schmidt will be okay with that.
yeah, I think so.
Schmidt winning 1-0 after the escape here in the second period. Not much time left here in this second period.
Well, they've spent the whole match right in the middle of the mat. I don't think they've gone out of bounds one time, so.
True.
It's pretty much been a rolling clock. The only stops we've had have been for stalemates.
I know these guys are used to wrestling a lot of matches and tournaments, but is this a little bit of a symptom of you just wrestled Thursday and now you're wrestling again on Sunday? Or
no, you've got plenty of time to recover between then. For both teams, in North Dakota wrestled Saturday, I believe, right? So in any case, if anyone's going to have difficulty, which should be them, but not really that big of a deal. Schmidt again with his head too high. Gives up the escape.
Yeah, North Dakota State's match was on Friday, so a little bit more rest than for WVU than for the Bison.
Right. So Sakora's got his elbow a little deep, which is allowing Schmidt to stay. What it really does is it screws up the leverage of the top guy. He can't really use that front headlock the way he would want to.
Another stalemate.
And they've both had challenges with that. Whenever they've been in the front headlock, their elbow gets a little too deep, and the guy who's defending is holding on to that elbow, trying to pull it in to eliminate that leverage possibility. Right now, I'd have to say that Sakura looks like he's getting the better of the hand fighting and the ties. Schmidt's got an opportunity to score, but he's really just looking to sort of push him away and base out. He's going to get a stalemate.
I agree with you. They seem like Schmidt had a slight edge in that first period, but it seems like Sakura's had a little bit more of an edge here in the third. Of course, the escape gives you a little bit of a boost too. That point to tie.
Well, it's about positioning. There, finally, you go and. So try to pinch that elbow and go to the side, grab the knee, get the corner, grab the knee, does it, but doesn't really follow it, doesn't really go after it, and therefore puts himself loses an opportunity to score a point. So a little bit of a scramble there. Got about 25 seconds left in the period. And they're both starting to lean a little bit. So again, you're going to get tired. Schmidt's got an opportunity to score here if he can find it. 10 seconds left. Sakura finds him though, so he's got that elbow locked deep, and now he's going to have a heck of a time getting out there, and Jay Cox is going to let the period end. We're going to go to sudden victory.
So close there for Matthew Schmidt late in the third period, but as you said, it will be a little bit of bonus time here in this match at 133. West Shane leads 4-0 overall after Zeke Moisey's major decision 11-2 over Paul Bianchi, but very evenly matched bout here at 133.
So there's a nice shot, a good shot by Schmidt. And now you're going to see Sakura. There's a 2-point takedown. Sakura was in nice and deep. Schmidt was. Sakura just was going to try to elevate him and roll him through, but Schmidt did a great job of just going down to the mat, grabbing that second leg, getting that 2-point takedown, and wins the sudden victory.
A really good weekend for Matthew Schmidt. A 4-2 win Thursday, a 3-1 win in overtime today.
Come down to this horse table to claim your prize.
Mountaineers now up 7-0 in this duel. We move on to 141. Christian Monserrat for West Virginia against Sam Hampton for North Dakota State. Correction, it will be McGwire Midkiff.
In match number 3 at 141 pounds.
Midkiff lost a 10-1 major decision on Friday against Pitt. Monserrat, on the other hand, kept things going for the Mountaineers against Oklahoma with a win in that duel.
That's an interesting choice there. Roger Kisser's part in taking that change, you would think that they'd have a better opportunity the other way around, but I suppose there's a reason he's the head coach and not us.
Midkiff,
go ahead.
Midkiff, a true freshman, the only one that's not redshirted on this roster. Hampton's a redshirt freshman. Midkiff's 8-9 on the year. Hampton 5-6, so not much of a difference there. But they pretty much split the duels. Hampton's wrestled 5. Midkiff's wrestled 5. Going against one of the more experienced Mountaineers in Monserrat, 40 career wins, 12 of those coming this year.
Monserrat on the sort of singles went to the high crotch. However, he got a little outside of it, and you saw Midkiff really just try to sit around the corner. He's going to try Monserrat and underneath the leg, try to come out the backside. And you're going to see Midkiff sort of hold on to his ankles for dear life there if he can, and see if he can create a stalemate or a different scramble situation and not get kicked in the face. Just holding on to that ankle. There should be a 2-point takedown.
There it is.
And maybe a chance for a near fall here. He's got the leg trapped so that he can't really base down all the way. But base out, we're going to get that 2-point takedown, and he's going to be content with that for the moment. And that took almost 30 seconds for them to finally base out, right? So
Monserrat trying to turn him in bounds and will do so. That right leg was outside of the circle briefly, but now Monserrat working him back towards the middle.
Well, if you're on top, you don't want to give him a restart unless you're in trouble. There's an opportunity. There's a tilt. Nice job. He's going to get a 2-point tilt out of that one. It's a nice job of pulling him back and catching him off guard.
Come on, Chris.
And he just got him buried in the mat at the moment.
Again, that control where pretty much anywhere that Monserrat wants him to go, he's going. We've been going closer and closer to the center as this period has gone on. It's just that initial takedown.
Well, look, and you made a great point, because if they go out of bounds and get that restart, the chances of him getting that turn right there very, very, very small, and it puts him up 4-0 to end the first period.
Might be the best period we've seen Monserrat wrestle this year.
Right. What do we got? Blood? I don't know that we can get through a match without blood.
We almost did Thursday. I think it was the last bout or the next to last bout where we had a little bit of a leak. But the job this Mountaineer team has done through 2 1/3 bouts, they've not allowed a takedown, just a couple of escapes.
No, you're exactly right. So their offense has been pretty good, which also, when the other guy's having to defend you and work off the bottom, it's a lot tougher for them to score, obviously. Monserrat up nice and quick. Oh, I don't know. Let's get the legs in. Trying to do that cross body ride.
Rolls a reverse from the first period. Now it's Monserrat that's trying to wriggle out of bounds and get us back to the middle.
Well, he's had some opportunities to create some space and score, and he was on his feet a couple of times. So the instruction from the coaching side of things is stop rolling, right? Quit trying to switch and roll, because you're basically playing into Midkiff's strengths and hands. Get up, stand up, create some space, make him stay down on the ankle. There's a chance for a reversal, and there it is. That should be. Is that not a reversal? I hate the fact that they still give the other guy like he's still riding. That's a 2-point reversal.
2 for Monserrat.
He's going to get a near fall out of that. No, he's on the ankle. So 2-point reversal, but you know what? And again, as he's waiting for that, there's about 15 seconds that goes off, right? And you're losing riding time in the process.
But again, the importance of being able to get out of bounds when you need to and stay in when you want to. I don't think Monserrat gets that escape nearly as easily if he's not back in the middle to start that period of wrestling there.
Because I barely even heard the whistle. Oh, there's a nice shot by Midkiff. He's going to get an escape and a takedown. And here's Monserrat. Got an opportunity. See this? That's a reversal. Got about 15 seconds left in a period. If he could get his head to that side a little bit better. Oh, there's a nice cradle. It's going to be 4 points. I don't think he's going to get the fall out of this because I think he's sort of laying on his shoulder slightly. But there's a 4-point near fall.
So it was 6-3 after the reversal by Midkiff, but then a reversal by Monserrat and a 4-point near fall has made this into a major decision potential at 12-3.
Right. Somehow I think there'll be more points scored just the way these guys are wrestling at the moment. But looking for that tilt again. Doing a nice job on top.
Yeah, I feel like Midkiff has not wrestled badly. It's just Monserrat's been very good.
I think Monserrat's been doing a nice job on top. Reading the pressures pretty well and taking advantage of the situations when Midkiff attempts to turn and using that to his advantage. Try to get some near falls.
Back to the middle we go with 1:18 left. That riding time point not clinched yet. 1:51 on the clock in Monserrat's favor.
Trying to keep his pressure down on the top, right? So he's trying to pull the top down. You can see Midkiff trying to get his butt up in the air, but Monserrat really doing a nice job of keeping the weight and pressure forward, trying to get his... What he'd really like to do is tilt that, because he did that once off of a sort of pseudo stand-up by Midkiff. Now that riding time point is pretty well on the board, so you're looking at 13-3.
But I feel like you don't want to play the game of letting him up because Midkiff's wrestled pretty well at neutral, and
you're right.
When he's had a chance.
And he's got some good scrambles to him and all that. Just keep him buried down there, and if you can turn him. We're going to get it.
Stalemate warning.
Who we call? He called the top guy, right? Because he put the green up. Why did he call him for stalling? Because he didn't turn him yet, I guess. He didn't think he was working hard enough to turn him. Maybe that's the case. I don't know about that one. But it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'll extend the point I made after the first period. I thought that was the best period that he'd wrestled. I think that's the best match we've seen Monserrat wrestle.
I agree with you. You know, where Midkiff is in terms of a talent and skill level is one thing, but I think Monserrat was a pretty complete match, wrestled well on his feet, was pretty dominant on top, and did a nice job getting off the bottom when he needed to.
So it'll be 13-3 with the riding time points.
Final giveaway. A $50 gift card to Target goes to Bowen Cylinder.
Major decision makes it 11-0 for West Virginia. So like the Oklahoma match, 3 in a row on the board in the Mountaineers' favor to begin a Big 12 duel.
And for West Virginia, Kyler Ray.
It'll be Kyler Ray, the redshirt freshman for West Virginia, against a redshirt senior for North Dakota State, Kyle Gliva. Ray on the air, 10-7. Gliva comes in to this match as one of the more experienced wrestlers on this team, 16-8 on the campaign.
Well, Ray with a nice shot, but went and tried to pop him up, but you saw Gliva just had it sort of locked around his waist and also trapped Ray's arm down at the same time, and which made it sort of tougher for him to finish. And Jay Cox seems to like to allow them to stay there for a little while. This is probably likely to be a stalemate too.
When you're on the sidelines right now waiting for your bout, do you kind of watch the referee to see what he's kind of allowing and what he's not giving, or are you more focused on what your preparations are?
Well, you watch in a little bit to see all that kind of stuff, but you never know what's going to go on in your particular match, what positions you're going to get in. Your job is to sort of get yourself ready to go out and do your thing. Mostly what you're watching for is to see how much time there is, so you're trying to time it. You know, this sport's a little different than the other ones. It's hard to, you're trying to time when you're going to be going. Sometimes there's a fall out there, so you got to sort of be ready and sort of hang out for a while and keep yourself warm and loose. There's a pretty good shot by Gliva. Rage sort of tried to sit down, do the same thing, but he's not in very good shape position right now. Gliva's in a pretty good spot to score a takedown here. And there it is, 2-point takedown.
And this weight class is where the match turned from North Dakota State on Friday. They won by injury default at 125. Then they lost the next two, so the match they were actually losing at that point. But then they went out, won the next three, got the lead for good, and beat Pitt. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that's why I said I think these teams are pretty evenly matched up. They've got some places where there should be some close matches here, and this one is technically probably one that favors North Dakota a little bit on their side of it. So they're counting on wins, particularly in the next couple of weight classes.
And Gliva, a guy that's got 50 career wins going against a redshirt freshman. So just based on that, you would maybe give him a little bit of an edge, and that's exactly what he has right now, 2-0 over Kyler Ray. That's where we'll end the first period. 1:07 of riding time in Gliva's favor. Ray will take neutral.
They didn't do a very good job getting out, and I don't think he wants to stay down there very much. And Gliva definitely did a nice job of being on top, sort of buried him pretty good down there. So Ray thinks he's got a best job at getting himself a takedown. And he had a couple of good opportunities that he wasn't able to finish. So if you're going to pick neutral, then the idea is make sure you get yourself in a position where you get a takedown, but
hasn't been able to do that.
No, Gliva really pretty good position staying, and so Coach Kish, comes from Minnesota, was a two-time runner-up in the NCAA tournament, right? So in that style, which he is awfully taught pretty well, there's a lot of sort of in that Big Ten, Minnesota, Iowa kind of way where you do a lot of beating on people on their head, trying to pull them forward and try to tire them out that way. And so you see that you've seen that so far with with the way that they work the tie-ups and things like that. So what you have to be able to do on your end is you got to be able to get clear, take advantage of some of those situations, vary some things up so that so you don't get tied up like that and keep getting pulled on that way. And you see Gliva has done a pretty good job of that so far here in the first 2 periods.
Yeah, has to be pleased with the job that he did, where this period starts at neutral. You don't allow him to score, you keep that 2-0 lead.
You're exactly right. So now Ray's got to spend a little time on top, right? If he can get a turn, that would be great, but you'd like to see him spend enough time to make him carry his weight a little bit. Certainly knock enough riding time off to make it worth his while, which is not really going to be too much of an issue, right? He's going to have to get this takedown anyway. He's going to need a takedown and a tilt or 2 takedowns. That's a nice shot by Gliva. Just did a good job of going around the corner. Work that elbow pressure down and sort of slid around the corner for that. It was a little bit of a double leg that he changed into a high crotch and picked it up for the single.
2 more before the takedown. Riding time will go over a minute now for Kyle Gliva.
Took his time, had a lot of time to finish the single. You know, mostly you're not in the most athletic and defensive position when you got your leg way up in the air like that. It's hard to defend. You're just trying to do what you can to stay on your feet, and Gliva does a nice job of finishing it. Cuts him loose, so they're going to try to look for some bonus points would be my guess, because they need him.
Something they did very well up at Pitt on Friday. Win by tech ball, 2 wins by major decision.
Got a good opportunity to finish that for a takedown if you can. There's 20 seconds left.
Back to neutral as they go out of bounds. 18 seconds left in this one.
Looks like
Gliva is
blood.
bleeding.
Yep.
Below the right eye. What are you saying to Kyle Ray right now? You're down 5-1 with 18 seconds left.
He's got to obviously take some quick shots, but he's got to do stuff right off where they close gap for the tie, right? If he allows Gliva to get in there and clamp on him, he's not going to have a lot of success. So it's got to be right at the knees, and that's not exactly what happened. But you see Gliva sort of sliding away from him too, so he's not dumb, right? The only thing that would screw the match up for him is if he gives up a bad takedown and near fall points.
So right on a point for the riding time. Kyle Gliva beats Kyler Ray 6-1. And with that decision, North Dakota State's on the board. West Virginia leads the team score 11-3. Heading into the 157-pound bout. It'll be Zachary Moore for West Virginia. And Clay Ream, ranked as high as 11th in the nation for North Dakota State. This middle area is where the Bison really do the damage. Ream ranked 11th in the nation. Andrew Fogarty right behind him is 18th in the nation. So these are the 2 guys you circle when you look at this lineup. And they're hoping to get their team back into it with West Virginia leading 11-3.
Yeah, this is definitely a strength of their lineup, and you know, at the same time, West Virginia's wrestled a really great match the last time out. Scored some big points early on. And we'll see how that translates into what he chooses to do today.
Ream, a 3-time NCAA qualifier, 14-3 on the year. Zachary Moore, 12-6 on the campaign. 25-22 in his career for the Mountaineers.
Ream is doing a nice job of going back in after that single leg. Not a good. Moore's got to stay tight as he can here and really lock keep Ream from basing out and tried to keep him from going over to the other side. He's got a chance. It's a long scramble.
Ream able to stay in bounds there and score 2.
2 for Ream.
Well, really just it was a nice scramble and a good job. Ream stayed in great position, was patient. Obviously pretty strong in that area. And was able to finish that takedown. More right up and a quick escape.
Just 2 seconds of riding time for Ream.
He didn't look like he was really trying to, didn't look like he cared a whole lot, right? So he got up, cut him loose. But I also think Moore's got some opportunities to score.
We're able to slow that attack, but hasn't been able to
No, and he's
deal with it.
Well, you're exactly right. And so what he ends up doing is he's getting to a spot and he's trying to clamp on. He's sort of holding on. Ream is the one who's been sort of getting off first, getting in position and firing certain things at him. Moore's just been trying to be content so far to attempt to keep him from scoring.
20 seconds, in on top. In on top.
And Moore's got some quickness that it would be great if. And when you watch Ream, okay, we talk about this all the time. You change levels and change angles. So Moore is quicker and Moore's pretty powerful. But what you see is when Moore goes to reach for him, Ream changes a level and all of a sudden you're unathletic. You're reaching for somebody and you're off balance. That's why that becomes really important.
Ream will take bottom for this second period. First chance for Moore in this bout to be on top. Caution. Says he understands.
Ooh. Now that's one of the things you get that opportunity to try to pull him back like that, and if you can sink and hold it, that'd be great. Once he rolls through, you're not in exactly the best position to stay on top of him very well. And Ream with the escape.
Never really felt like he had a good grip on that one, even from the beginning.
What I haven't seen yet is Moore really work his offense. He's been trying to keep Ream from scoring mostly. There's a nice shot finally, but then he stopped. He got in on it and he stopped. And now Ream is just trying to hold on. If he can turn him, probably should get a stalemate here would be my guess. Jay Cox let him wrestle a long time in these positions. It wastes a lot of.
See Cox shaking his head no.
Well, and Ream works his way through. Moore has had this an opportunity, but he's got to move up and moving, and he's just sort of holding on to his leg. And he's working on getting himself a takedown. Oh, Moore. Wow. That worked out weird. He's got to move up or he's going to get warned for stalling. And there's a warning for stalling.
How many times have we seen that from Zachary Moore this year? A late surge in a period to get some points.
You know, and it wasn't It wasn't the, it was a sort of a desperation roll through on his part, and he was able to create enough space, and Ream just sort of lost him slightly, and Moore went and attacked him. I'm going to say that scramble took a lot of energy out of both of them. Took a lot of energy out of both of them. We're going to go 3-3 heading into the third. And I think we're going to get a chance to see, here he is, where he gets the place and he rolls, he creates enough space, and then when Ream tried to go after him, he just was a little sloppy in doing it and basically walked into a double leg.
So the point you just made about them expending a lot of energy, does that help Ream that he's on top here? I guess not. More with the escape to make it 4-3.
The person it helps is the person who has trained to stay in good position, in good shape. There's a beautiful takedown by Ream. And so, you know, yesterday on Thursday, the last match, we were talking about Moore was up and he sort of had an opportunity to really close the match out and go in front, and he sort of coasted at the end. Well, this is the part when you're in a match like this that you can't coast at the end, right? You have to fight and keep pushing all the way through. And so this is the match where he's got to get himself in that position where he's wrestling hard for that full 7 minutes of the match. And being technically sound at the same time.
Yeah, Moore won 12-7 on Thursday, and Ream was in a match much like this, won 9-7 on Friday at Pitt.
It almost seems like he's content. That's not a good idea because he's gonna call that. Oh wow, I could not believe he called that. He said no back. I couldn't believe he called was doing it in the first place, because Moore's the one who sort of put it there trying to roll. Anyway, but the problem is now you're up to about a minute of riding time, right? And that's why I said that sort of roll through was a bad idea, because you were going to waste a good 30 seconds there anyway, and you probably weren't going to get out.
Watching North Dakota State bench, they had the challenge brick in hand and decided, nah, screw it, and put the brick back under their chair.
Right. Why? Because he's going to stay on top, and he's going to win the match 6-4 and ride him out here.
And imagine, too, you don't want to give Moore a minute to catch his breath either in this close of a match where a challenge would allow him to do that.
Well, you're exactly right about that. So they're going to get a 6-4 win. Close the gap a little bit.
11-6 now in favor of West Virginia, and that makes really every match from now on a big one. And again, no breaks. We're going to go right to 165. Nick Kiussis for West Virginia, Andrew Fogarty for North Dakota State. And again, on paper, this favors the Bison with a ranked wrestler going against Kiussis, who's had a good year, 8-9. I contrast that with Andrew Fogarty, who's coming off a 17-2 tech fall win against Pitt and is 23-6 on the season.
Just put some wins together. You can score some points, right? And so if you're Kiussis, you got to do your thing. You got to look for your offense, get opportunities to score. And you never know. A lot of that stuff is some matchups of styles, too, and different styles that people have sometimes lend themselves to being closer or more split scores.
Go back to the importance of those bonus points, too. Moisey wins 11-2. Monserrat wins 13-3. And that's your cushion where if this ends in a decision, you still have the lead.
Oh, you're exactly right. Nice job by Kiussis. That was just a nice little wrestling scramble there by both guys. They both were in, went after some offense, countered, and re-attacked. Nice wrestling there.
Dancing out of bounds here on the side by the WVU bench.
And that was almost a huge mistake by Kiussis. He was trying to just push him out, right? And he almost got shrugged and almost gave up a takedown. Just can't. It's part of being a freshman too, I suppose, but.
This is trying a few different angles, but hasn't been able to get the breakthrough.
He's had a tough time getting past the defense, right? And the one shot that he had was because he pulled his head all the way down and sort of powered right through it. Nice job by Kiussis, though, of keeping his head in good position, which kept Fogarty from being able to go in and penetrate the way he wanted to. There's a little bit of trouble here. A little bit of trouble here. This is a problem. Whoa. That was pretty nice.
Especially the timing, final 15 seconds of the period. Had 4 more on for the near fall. So Kiussis does a nice job for about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and then it falls apart.
Well, you just saw that we got some good places. Fogarty was in a good position, and he's tried that. Well, he just did a nice job eventually getting to the place where it was sort of a body lock and pops his hip in there and takes him to his back just the way you're supposed to, just like they draw it up.
Kiussis on top here will burn off the little bit of riding time that Fogarty got late in that first period. Now it'll flip in his favor.
What would you like to see him do is be looking to score, right? So he's trying that cross-body ride. He's got him a little tied up. Looks like Fogarty is sort of almost looking for, waiting for some stalemate, which he's going to get.
There it is. There I had to move that much to get back in the position in the middle.
Well, and does a just job of getting to his feet for an easy, relatively easy escape after that. Kiussis in on the shot, but man, he can't stay there in front of him. You can see Fogarty really trying to push the hip down and see what he can do to kind of change the angle. And if he can. Seems sort of spinning toward and away from the head, right? So now Kiussis is in trouble. He's going to try to hold on to that elbow as best he can. But now he doesn't even have that. He's almost.
Kiussis gets the reversal.
Well, they're going to. There's 2. So I think that was 2, 2, and 2.
Yes.
Right?
So 9-4 now in favor of Fogarty. Again, the final 20, 25 seconds of the period have been the key moments in this match. Fogarty scored 6 in the final 15 seconds of the first period, and now a little bit of back and forth.
Well, you see, locks those 2 elbows, and he does a nice job of getting through, but you see Fogarty. The problem is when you're parallel like that, the other guy's got an opportunity to keep rolling side to side, which he eventually does and finds his way to get out.
Also,
warning for stalling is what he is going to get.
Also, what Kiussis has been able to do is it was 7-0. Now it's 9-4. So you've moved yourself a little bit out of that area of a major decision.
No, you're right. He's done a nice job in continuing to fight and keep wrestling. Well, there's another minute 47 left to go.
Riding time's just 10 seconds, but obviously if Fogarty can stay on top, that point will be coming his way too.
Well, he's going to try that, sort of that bow and arrow, and he's got this on that side. Kiussis not in a good place on the bottom. That is not where you want to be with your hip turned high. He tried to roll through it just to escape that pressure, which he did. But he looks a bit tired too at the same time.
Yeah, not really moving the legs at this point, and
already with that bar in. And
now over a minute of riding time, is actually on a minute now as they bring things back to the middle.
So you got 50 seconds left in the match. Just need an escape. Just need an escape. This is a little problematic. Both ways, actually. Kiussis got to be careful he doesn't get rolled through like that because of that half. Fogarty doing a nice job on top. But again, kept his hip tight, all that kind of stuff on top. Didn't allow Kiussis to slide to get enough room to heist his hip or to turn or twist. And technically, if you ride on top like that a lot, and why do we have a roaring? Why was that warning for? I just don't understand where it comes from. There's going to be a reversal at the buzzer.
So we had 2 for the escape, 1 for the riding time, and a 10-6 win for Andrew Fogarty over Nick Kiussis. So, what was it? Okay.
Yeah, 11-9.
All right.
11-9, we got team score at this point in time.
Yes, and this will be Charley Popp wrestling for North Dakota State at 174. Parker VonEgidy in Marfa, West Virginia. Yes, as you said, 3 both ways, but the bonus points to West Virginia, the difference, they lead 11-9.
You're exactly right. So those make a huge difference, and right here's got to be an area that West Virginia counting on a win by VonEgidy. Popp trying to jump in the air and see, really put that weight on that leg. Well, there's a 2-point takedown. And this is an area that West Virginia, not VonEgidy, not only win. You'd like to see some bonus points. This is an area where West Virginia has a decided advantage. Popp not having a winning record on the year thus far, so.
Yeah, VonEgidy 11-6, Popp 4-5 on the year. I thought VonEgidy wrestled well Thursday evening when he lost to Yoanse Mejias, one of the best wrestlers in the nation from Oklahoma. Only lost by 2 points. Popp was a winner by 11-3 major decision against Pitt on Friday. Have to figure that factored into the decision to give him the nod over Nick Knutson here at 174 for the Bison. VonEgidy, by the way, accumulated 22 seconds of riding time before that escape by Popp.
And he can get that single if he just goes after it. He sort of reaches for it, and if he really goes after it, I think he gets in and gets that single leg. So again, there it is. And there, that time he went in and went after it, where he was a little high, much higher than he wanted to be, because he was up on the thigh instead of down at the knee, but he went after it. And now he's got an opportunity to score. Just got to grab. Oh, wait. Why did he put his foot on the I couldn't tell because on our vantage point, did he put his foot on the floor? Is that what happened? And that's why he blew it, because VonEgidy was still in bounds.
I believe that's what I saw.
So we got to look for that same thing. He's had that single twice now, and he's done a good job with it. What would be really good is if he could do that to both sides.
So a takedown for VonEgidy, an escape for Popp. Now it's usually 2-1 going into the second period, and Parker VonEgidy says, "What do you want?" And Sammy Hansen says, "I want you on the bottom for this one."
Yeah, exactly. Here's the finish of that takedown. He trips him as soon as he touches the mat with his hands. VonEgidy really trying to seal that stuff, keep his elbows down. He was in a great position. He was out, and he just pinched his knees together. He's going to get a point here for a technical violation for locking hands.
There it is. VonEgidy awarded that point to go up 3-1.
Well, we got a challenge for something here. Not sure what it is. I think it was for the locked hands.
Demonstrating on referee Jay Cox.
Well, he's asking him about something. I'm not sure what it is.
It's just
well, you know, so technically the difference is, right, if he's up around his head, it's technically a headlock, and it's not like locking around his waist. So that is the point that he's trying to make. Now, whether that was true or not is another matter. So
Cox will go to the monitor. I just enjoyed the demonstration where Jay Cox just was having no part of kind of being grabbed around the neck. We'll see what he's seeing.
I don't know that it's at this spot. I want to say it's before that. This looks like right as they're going out of bounds. Looks like they're having some technical difficulties with the replay over there. The monitor's not on. That's a problem.
Step one, can you see what's going on?
I'm surprised they don't just come down here and use this one.
They could. We'd be happy to share. So this goes back to your point about kind of timing when you're going on the mat. This is not the way that you're expecting.
No, it is not. So, but they're gonna. I think. Well, this is always the challenging part, right? It's back on. I can see the monitor on now. Somebody probably kicked the plug out.
Usually it's a simple solution. And it's been a long day at the Coliseum with the women's basketball game earlier, so lots of time for cords to get kicked out and things to get dislodged.
So it's way before that. It's way before this. I got to keep going backwards if they really want to. This is not where the locking hands was. It's here. No. No, that's going to be locked hands. Then he comes up. That's well, they should be well rested now. There should be no problems with too much of a fatigue factor. The question is whether they've stayed warm.
Still a bit of discussion here.
All right. And
this is very meta. You're watching yourself watch the monitor.
It's like if you have like two mirrors backed up like that all over and over again. I think we're just looking at the time. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure what's taking so long at this point in time.
There's 1:28 on the clock right now.
So it does that. I thought they stopped the clock at the right point in time. The question is whether to finish the riding time. Right now the riding time on the clock says zeros, all zeros, so that may not be too accurate. 1:28. And
let's go!
we were moving at a pretty good clip for a while.
Oh, you knew that wouldn't last.
Yeah.
Let's go!
All right, now Sammy Hens getting an explanation. Seems okay with it.
So they probably have the riding time over here and not worried about putting it on the scoreboard right at the moment. We will not know what the riding time is, though, however, at least for this particular moment.
And after all that, the call was confirmed, so
right.
Penalty point for locking hands. 3-1 Parker VonEgidy
And
leading
he's out.
Charley Popp.
That should be at least going to end up as a neutral, I would think. There's the escape.
4-1 now. Again, this is a big match in the big picture. Mountaineers leading 11-9, but they've lost the last 3 bouts. VonEgidy can right the ship here. That would be big.
There you go. Your coach Henson, he's coming hard with that right. He took a pretty good forearm in the side of the head, that's for sure. VonEgidy did. There's another one. So what he's been able to do a couple of times is make that pull and then go right in after that leg, right? Tap the side of the head and then go right in after it. I don't know if they... Only about 10 seconds left in the period, but I don't think you can be content to just sort of hang out.
All right, now like you said, they should be nice and fresh, so no reason to really need that rest. But we'll go to the third period with Parker VonEgidy leading 4-1. Got the takedown in the first period. Charley Popp then escaped. And VonEgidy got a point for the locked hands, another point for an escape to make it 4-1, and now he'll be on top. Again, the third period. Again, we're not sure of the riding time. There is 17 seconds on the clock in favor of Popp, but that's just what we've accumulated since the stoppage.
Right. VonEgidy's in a bit of a tough spot here because it looks like he's got the leg that's been blocked coming in, and he's a little out of position with his hip. So he could get pulled down pretty easy if he's not careful, and he's going to try to get stepped over the top, Popp is, but not able to do that. And there's going to be the escape.
4-2.
What you'd like to see. Oh, there's an attempt. Oh my, that was a not. I'm not sure about that call at all.
It ties it for
They
Popp.
said they gave that 2 and 1. I don't.
VonEgidy gets the escape, as you said, so it's 5-4. Still in favor of VonEgidy.
I don't know about that. That should have been a 0. But what it does allow him to do is get 1 point closer.
Riding time is not going to be a factor, I wouldn't imagine. The other guys really had a sustained period on top.
What I'd really like to see is VonEgidy get himself a nice takedown, right? Go after that. He's pushing so hard. A little bit of snap and a little bit of go right after that thing, just like that. Just keep doing that. He's not had a real great answer for it. Got 20 seconds left. And the challenge would be just trying to hold on. Oh, I don't know. Backed out of that, so he's going to get a warning for stalling. But
But he does enough. Parker VonEgidy does to win 5-4. After losing 3 straight bouts, West Virginia back in the win column. They need 14-9 with 3 bouts to go.
yeah, I'm sure that was a little more exciting than Coach Henson would have preferred. But he did a nice job. He battled through there, and
All right, and we'll see Nick Knutson at 184 for North Dakota State. Brenden McRill, the freshman, getting the nod for West Virginia. McRill, 6-9 on the year, 2-3 in duels.
really going with that underhook. Nice shot. Goes around the corner, going to have a tried to step through, really changed the step through the leg so that he could try to tilt and turn off of that.
Knutson 4-7 on the year in an early 2-0 hole, now 2-1 with the escape. I thought McRill did a nice job on Thursday, winning 7-4 over Nick Waddell. Match that put the Mountaineers a win away from clinching the match, which they did. In the next bout, thanks to Jake Smith.
Oh, there's a similar situation right here, right?
Yep.
I mean, you get a good win here, and then you got a chance to really end it with Smith at 97 and not have to worry about the heavyweight part of it at all.
Something we haven't really talked about, that Iowa State match last year, I believe, was the last home match of the year. So Mountaineers have won the last 2 Big 12 home duels. Looking to add a third after not winning a Big 12 match at all before that.
That's a good point. Good point.
Their only other Big 12 match this year was a neutral site match against Utah Valley State up at Clarion Area High School in Pennsylvania.
So the same thing, had a nice shot, but he's got to follow it in, and he got trapped and blocked down. You see Knutson trying to, McGrill was going to try to pop him up, come out the backside, but he stopped doing that. I think it looks like he's trying to hold on. There's one thing that Jay Cox definitely lets these guys wrestle all the way through stuff. There's no quick stalemates that occur.
Do you like that as a wrestler, or does it depend?
Well, it depends. Sometimes you're just waiting for it to. Hasn't given it to him yet. He's in good position. He just got to be a little careful that he doesn't. There it is.
Takedown from McRill. 4-1.
Keep him down. Keep him down. We got work here.
And
Keep him down. Keep that right on deep.
22 seconds left, gave up that escape. So if you can give escape with 22 seconds, I hope you can get some semblance of a takedown.
Get off the overtime. 21. Come overtime.
Wow, that's a long shot.
Gets away with it though.
Well, sort of got away with it, right? I mean, trying to, here's him finishing that single leg and a trip from behind and just jumps on top. Trying to do that high crotch. He's doing the high crotch left-handed, but he's all the way on the left side and he's trying to cut across and do that, which means you got a long way to go in order to get to the corner. It's usually fairly easy to defend. Unless you tap that and then you come back to the other side.
McRill on top with a 4-2 lead, now up to 35 seconds of riding time, but that ends with the escape. 3 escapes from Knutson.
McGrill's pretty much had that shot whenever he wants it. He goes, could have had it right there too, just follow it straight in.
Another swipe there.
Yeah, he tried that high crotch, the really long side. It's not that you can't get it and you can't do it. It's just that once you touch that, you really have to spin and turn hard if you're going to get to the corner on the outside there. So takes the shot, but he, man, makes it a little hard on himself because he took the shot angling down. Took the shot angling down. He's got about 15 seconds left to try to finish it. And there he gets it.
Big with the timing too, just less than 10 seconds left in this period, and that was a very precarious 4-3. Now it's a little bit more cushion at 6-3.
Oh, man, he made it hard on himself, man. I don't know exactly why. Let's go neutral.
43 seconds of riding time in favor of McRill, but work to do still here against Nick Knutson.
We're just going to finish that period. We're going to go to the third, and we're going to stay on our feet, but. Oh, wow. That's an interesting call. I guess it because he backed out, I think. I don't know. Oh, nice inside trip. Nice inside trip to an ankle pick, and he gets himself a takedown.
First takedown for Knutson. The lead's down to 6-5 for Brenden McRill here in the third period.
And now, look, McGrill's got to do something, right? He's going to be, there he is. That's a nice shot, and he does a great job. So that one, he really turned the corner on, right? So what a great difference that is when you turn the corner on that thing, as opposed to shooting a down angle.
We've talked in the past about attrition. And you see like McRill's controlled this entire match, and now in that third period, he's starting to get a little bit more reward for that.
Well, he almost gave one up, right? So, because he gave that inside trip. There he is on that single again, and I think he could have been doing this the whole match. Be out of bounds.
McRill's over a minute of riding time, so another point on the board. So now you're looking at a take. He allows the escape, but now you're looking at maybe playing the game where you can get a quick takedown.
There it is again. And so look, he's going to try to step through and see if he can get a turn.
He's going to let him go and try and get one final takedown.
Right. And he's in on it, but there's only 10 seconds. This one, he's not a good shot. But I think a nice job and a nice job on his part. I mean, just a pretty good, hard-fought match. Like I said, he does that a little bit earlier. He's on top of it a little bit more, but a nice match by McRill.
3 takedowns in the final period to win 14-8. So now, you said West Virginia is in a position where you win here, you win the match. 17-9 lead, going to 197, and you've got your stud on the mat in Jake Smith.
Yeah, if you're West Virginia, you're in the position that you want to be in, right? I mean, the match is coming down to it, and you've got, now I think he's got to be a little careful. I mean, he's been, to try not to overpower people so much right in the beginning and make sure that he's got some consistency in the energy level throughout the match.
Jake Smith 5-3 on the year, 79-32 for his career. Cordell Eaton 14-7 on the year for North Dakota State.
So all right now you see just a lot of blocking by Eaton. There's a warning for stalling, mostly because of that, I think. Just buried his head and was trying to block. Oh, I sure would like to see Jake Smith take some shots. I mean, you know, when he warms up, he takes shots. You know what I mean?
So we know he can do it.
I know he could do it. But he's so busy trying to pull people up in the air with that underhook and try to jack them up all the time. I think one time just sort of pull them forward, take the easy one. Oh, there's a nice knee pick. Right, but he gets that off of an attempted shot by Eaton, right? So he finally gets the underhook and he gets to jack it up and pick the knee on the far side. Get a chance to stay on top. Like I said, he's really good on top. It's been getting there that's been a little bit of a challenge for him. Oh, there's a nice power. Nice half. Nice half. Now the challenge with this half a lot of times is you're also pinning the hip at the same time, which makes it hard for him to turn. But I gotta tell you, being on the bottom down there is not a lot of fun. You're all stretched out. He's trying to rip your arm off over your head.
Smith seems so much bigger when he's on top than the guy that's on the bottom.
Well, he's a pretty put together, pretty big guy. There's no doubt about it. And
Cordell Eaton bearing the brunt of that right now.
That's right. You're going to get called a stalemate called. And again, what ends up happening is when you have legs in like that, they're going to they might stalemate that a little bit. Now, if he's sort of buried down there without the legs in and he's working those halves and bars, they're going to let you do that all day long. Or he's going to call stalling on the other guy.
Caution there.
Yeah, I don't think he stopped at all. That was like a rolling start.
So Jake Smith controls the first period on top after the takedown. He racks a minute 44 of riding time. And he'll take the bottom.
So you saw Eaton try to shoot, and then Smith finally got that underhook, was able to pop him up and do that knee tap on the other side, a little knee pick, and gets that takedown.
Devin Brown very excited in the background of that one on the WVU bench.
The challenge is a lot of people know that that's what he does, so they stay down. They keep that side down where he's underhooking, so he can't pop him up in the air like that very easily, even when he tries to get his hip under there. And he needs some complementary things.
Out goes Smith, 3-0. Favor of the Mountaineers, 197-pounder.
Boy, I'd like to see. You see, Eaton tries to reach with his left hand, and he sort of loops it, hits his elbow up in the air. Smith takes that shot underneath there, and he's powerful enough and quick enough that he can get to that corner pretty rapidly. I think he'd be extremely dangerous if he could take that shot, either a low single or that knee let or at the knee.
Smith avoids that shot nicely.
Yeah, there wasn't much to that. Wow. We've had 9 matches of people pounding each other in the head, and then he's going to
warn him for doing just that.
I mean, geez.
Jake Smith knows so he can be on top if he wants to for this third period. So,
management
at this point.
If Eaton takes bottom, yeah, but he might not because he didn't have a lot of success in getting out.
At the end of period 2, Smith leads 3-0.
Yeah, I'd take neutral.
That's what they'll do,
right? But this is great for Smith, right? Because it puts him in a position where, look, get a takedown. Get the takedown. And he's got to do some things where it's not always lifting somebody up in order to do it. Pull him forward a little bit, knock him down. If you get a nice, easy spin around, that's great. Yes, just like that. Do that little fake, come back, use that front headlock, but you got to pull him forward on that. Extend them, that kind of stuff. Those would be good. He could, there's an easy takedown. I think he could do that a lot. Now that was off of a shot, but what do we have?
The point for Eaton. 5-2 now.
Not
really sure.
I don't know. It's like trying to figure out what a catch is in football. Now he's extremely comfortable in that underhook.
Fights off the shot from Eaton again.
Right. So he catches him coming in pretty well, right? And because he keeps that hand down there because he's always looking for that underhook. Oh my. Gonna warn him for stalling, give him another point. He's got to stay in the center of the mat. That would be helpful. What's that for? So it's a 1.
I didn't hear the explanation, but he said 1 red, so it's 5-4.
Well, he gave another one.
Yeah.
Well, he still got a riding time point, too, as long as he doesn't give it up there. I don't know what. And they're going to get another stall and get another point. So that's not the greatest thing there, but
it's a win.
I don't know. It's a win, and
6-5. And with that, West Virginia clinches the win. It's 20-9 now, and for a program that had 1 Big 12 win entering the week, that picked up 2 in 4 days. Now Brenden Ngati, who got a nice win against Oklahoma on Thursday, will try and build on that to finish the night out.
yeah, I think that would be great. I'm still not exactly sure what the heck. I don't know what this conversation is about.
Off we go at heavyweight. Brenden Ngati for West Virginia. Dan Stibral for North Dakota State. Ngati now 2-12 on the campaign. Stibral coming off a 16-2 win by major decision against Pitt. His record now 14-9 on the year. Ngati, though, has won his last 2 Big 12 duels here. Iowa State by pen, and a win by decision here on Thursday. Penn is looking more like a watershed moment in this program, like we talked about earlier. You go from never winning a Big 12 duel to now winning 3 in a row at home. Iowa State to end last year, Oklahoma Thursday, and now add North Dakota State to that tally tonight.
So I'm not sure that the way these two are whacking each other in the head was any different than what we were seeing in the other match. I'm not.
Nick Smith just seems to draw controversy for whatever reason.
No, there we blew the whistle on the head slaps. They outlawed those in the NFL, from what I understand, a long time ago. Yes.
And they have a little bit more headgear than these guys do.
They do. Oh, man. He had that single if he goes at it. He had it. You're going to call smacking in the head, and you better be somewhat consistent with it, right? So,
just getting some clarification. WVU was penalized a team point.
Right.
Not that it'll matter in the final result, but it's 19-9 now.
What was it for? Did he throw his headgear or something?
Find out. We're not certain, but the fact I don't think Jake shook hands after the match. He just walked off. So.
Oh.
First period ends with no score between West Virginia's Brenden Ngati and North Dakota State's Dan Stibral. Typical heavyweight match.
Yep. 0-0 in the first period. We'll probably get an escape here in the second. I'd like to see him spend a little time on top. That would be really nice. He did, about 7 seconds.
And that's something we've talked about with Ngati, where he needs to show some improvement in that area.
So, you know, there's, oh. And you're going to get called for a warning for stalling for running out onto the floor. That was really nice. I mean, he's done 2 really nice things on his feet 3/4 of the way. One was a single leg, and that was that little underhook and the attempt at, well, it was the same takedown that Jake Smith had. He had a nice opportunity at that.
That's another thing we've talked about with Brenden is he almost gets there and then just can't quite finish the job.
I suppose almost takedowns are sort of like almost winning, right? I mean, he's like, he is really close to doing a couple of things really well.
Only a sophomore, so there's time for Brenden Ngati to find it.
Oh, get that spin, do that. There it is, that's 2 points.
Whoa,
he was
no.
behind him. How can you wave it off?
There it is. 2-1 now for Brenden Ngati.
All right.
Imagine the goal here is work on top of the last 17 seconds.
Try to stay on top for 17 seconds, right? So it's not tied up going into the third, but he struggles with that, trying to keep him down there. He's not, I don't see it. He's going to get warned for stalling and then give up the escape.
With 2 seconds left. So we'll be tied at 2 going to the third period between Brenden Ngati and Dan Stibral. Ngati wants neutral.
Took neutral. So there's obviously a concern about getting out. We really need it to be 2 minutes for the third period. There we go. Although they are used to going sudden victory, so, you know. And so now, his arms are a little crossed. There we go. So he's got the opportunity. He just got to do what he's been doing, right?
It's a little slow, a little tired.
Well, you know, they both are, but right as he's reaching, he's standing up again, right? So, again, you want to stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down. Reach, instead of reach like that, you're going to fake at his knees, get him to move a little bit, especially as a heavyweight. It doesn't take a whole lot. .40 seconds left in the period.
Riding time not a factor, just 26 seconds.
So we're 30 seconds away from a sudden victory again.
It's been good to the Mountaineers already. Matthew Schmitt won at 133 with a 2-point takedown. What
he's trying to get is that warning for stalling. You could see him doing it, trying to do that, trying to push him out, get that warning for the point. And sudden victory.
Third period was a neutral. We'll do it again for another minute.
And the challenge is, Ngati looks pretty tired at the moment, right? I mean, he's doing a lot of leaning, and he's not hand fighting the way that he was earlier, using his feet to move. There he goes. That's
just not able to get the takedown yet. Still fighting with 14 seconds left.
You're going to go out. You can't give this up in the corner, on the boundary. Don't give it up with two. Oh, they gave him the 2-point takedown right at the buzzer as they go out of bounds. Oh, man. But, man, Ngati he's right there. Just got to finish that single leg, and he had an opportunity to multiple times. Actually wrestled a great match.
So
that's going to be it.
So a disappointing end, but West Virginia once again in the win column, now 2-1 in the Big 12 with the 19-12 victory, Tony.
No, I thought, again, I think North Dakota State is better than Oklahoma was, right? I thought this was going to be a tougher match, and they were a little stronger in the middle, and West Virginia, again, did a nice job, not only in the winning of the matches, but getting a couple bonus point matches and not giving up any bonus points throughout the match. And Ngati was very competitive there at heavyweight, which he's had troubles with that in the past, not being real competitive, but they did a great job. The whole team wrestled really well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the 4 losses, 6-1, 6-4, 10-6, 4-2. So you're
Right.
in every single one of those.
Exactly. So I thought they wrestled pretty well tonight, and I mean, from the beginning to end, Zeke Moisey set the tone really well, and I think they followed through match by match and did a nice job coming away with the victory.
Yeah, let's break it down match by match. Zeke Moisey once again sets the tone, 11-2 win, major decision. Scored a takedown in every single one of those 3 periods.
Well, yeah, I mean, he kept on him, and wrestled a full 7 minutes, which was great to see him do that. Wrestled really hard for 7 minutes.
Just saw West Virginia lose in sudden victory. Won in sudden victory at 133. Matthew Schmitt defeating Sakura 3-1.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty entertaining match. I thought they, again, evenly matched guys, and I thought that Schmitt did a nice job of hanging in there and took advantage of the opportunities he had to score.
I think the highlight for me tonight is what Christian Monserrat did at 141.
No, that was a nice complete match by him too. I mean, the first time it really, on his feet, wrestled well on top, and got off the bottom relatively rapidly. So that was a good all-around match, 7-minute match for him.
13-3 the win for Montserrat. So 11-0 West Virginia at that point in a good position. But then that lead started to slip away. 149, Gliva wins 6-1 over Kyle Ray. Ream beats Zachary Moore 6-4. Andrew Fogarty beats Nick Kiussis 10-6. What stood out to you from those 3 bouts?
Well, again, like you said earlier, I think they were competitive at least, right? It wasn't. Those are the 3 strongest weight classes, I think, for North Dakota State anyway. So they're going to count on some wins. But I thought there were pretty competitive matches, and we scored some offensive points in some of those matches too, which is great, as opposed to being 6-3 and there's 3 takedowns and 3 escapes, right? So there's some offensive points scored, and I thought there was that those guys wrestled really well.
One to circle tonight, 174. Parker VonEgidy beats Charley Popp 5-4. Lead goes to 14-9. If Popp wins that match, West Virginia's down 12-11.
Well, yeah, that's why we do it, right? We keep got to keep fighting. Every match is important, and so they had some strung together 3 wins in a row to get themselves 9 points. Again, we didn't give up any bonus points, which was really helpful, and and VonEgidy does what he's supposed to do and go in and win his match and start moving things back in the other direction.
At 184, Brenden McRill got 3 takedowns in the third period. He defeats Nick Knutson 14-8 to get West Virginia up 17-9.
Right, that was one of the areas that, and I think McRill had some opportunities to score a couple more points, couple more takedowns, which probably would have allowed for a major decision on his part, but I thought he wrestled a pretty good match.
Then maybe the more interesting match of the night, 197, Jake Smith seemingly had it under control at 5-0, but then a series of points for stalling and warnings, and the riding time point turns out to be the difference in a 6-5 win.
Yeah, series of unfortunate events, yes. Right? I mean, he's frustrated. I think there were some things in terms of some of the officiating that was frustrating him, and he didn't respond to that well. If you remember last year, he didn't respond to that well very early in the year, and actually cost team point and whatnot, and ended up costing us a dual match in part because of that. So, and look, he's frustrated. He's not back to where he wants to be yet. Some of these matches he knows he should probably be scoring more points than he is, and he's not exactly where he wants to be, and I can see that being frustrating to him. Now, he's got to do a much better job of managing that and handling that so that doesn't get under his skin. Otherwise, then you're out there wrestling against yourself at the same time, and 2-on-1 is usually a bad scenario, right? So you gotta maintain your poise and your composure and keep things in perspective and stay focused on what it is you're working to accomplish out there.
So even with the team point penalty, Mountaineers clinched it at 19-9, and then a tough loss for Brenden Ngati at heavyweight just now.
No, I thought he wrestled a pretty good match. He scored a takedown, right? He was in on another one. Should have had that one in sudden victory, but he, as like a lot of people, when you're out in the match for the first time, when you're really in there, he doesn't look like somebody who's finished a lot of single legs, right, in the matches. So I just like to see him continue to do some of that, and I think some wins will start coming his way.
Final thoughts from this one, and also Mountaineers are on the road for the next 4. What do they need to improve to stay over 500 in the Big 12?
Well, you got to take them on a match-by-match basis, but I think the real issue is they're still looking for complete. If you're looking at an individual standpoint, you're looking for a complete 7 minutes, right? Where you can wrestle intensely, stay very focused, and stay in good position, be in attack mode for 7 minutes against somebody else who's going to be in attack mode too. And they're not quite there yet, but you don't expect them to be there in the beginning of January. You really need to be there toward the end of February, moving into March, and they're progressing well in that direction, though.
So again, the final score: West Virginia defeats North Dakota State 19-12, third straight Big 12 home win for the Mountaineers, second in a row. Overall, they moved to 3-3 overall, 2-1 in the league. First time WVU's been over 500 in their history in the Big 12 in wrestling. North Dakota State falls to 6-6 overall and 0-4 in the league. Mountaineers are at Oklahoma State. That's a big one on January the 19th. Not home again here at the Coliseum until February the 11th when they battle South Dakota State. That'll be a 2 p.m. start here in Morgantown.
No, you're right. Those next two coming up, Oklahoma State, and then a couple days later, Iowa State. Those are going to be some intense matches. Oklahoma State is very, very good, and Iowa State will be different with Kevin Dresser at the helm this year. Just look for them to be a different team.
And once again, Mountaineers defeat the Bison 19-12 for Tony Alvarado. I'm Michael